What if I told you that right now, today, you are talking to me as someone you didn't choose to become? Not the job, not the relationship, not even the face you're making right now. I mean the deeper thing. The way you laugh when you're not amused, the way you say, "I'm fine," when you're not, the way you've gotten so good at being what everyone needs that you can't remember anymore what you actually wanted. Carl Jung spent his entire life studying that exact moment, the moment a person quietly realizes, "I have been performing a version of myself for so long, I forgot it was a performance." Stay until the end, because by the time this video is over, you're going to ask yourself a question you've been avoiding for years. And if this hits you the way it hit me, subscribe, because we're going deeper into the mind every single week, and you don't want to miss where this goes next. Let's begin. It never arrives with thunder. There's no single event, no dramatic collapse, no morning where the sky splits open and tells you your life is a lie. Instead, it's quieter than that, and somehow that makes it worse. You wake up, you do the routine, you talk to the same people in the same tone about the same things, you smile in all the right places, and somewhere in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday, you feel it. That strange, sinking sense that you are watching your life instead of living it, like you're behind glass. Most of us wave it away. We blame the job, the relationship, the lack of sleep, bad luck, anything but the real question. But Jung believed that feeling isn't noise, it isn't a malfunction, it's a message. And it might be the beginning of the most important psychological journey a human being can take. Here's what haunted Jung as a psychiatrist. Why do people who have everything still feel hollow? Why does the person with the good job, the nice house, the applause, still lie awake feeling like a stranger in their own life? Why does someone be surrounded by people and still feel utterly, achingly alone? Jung's answer was not comfortable. He believed most people never actually become themselves. They become something else instead, a version of themselves that was approved of. Because think back, when you were a child, you learned fast which parts of you got love and which parts got silence, punishment, or that look of disappointment you never forgot. So, without ever deciding to, you started editing. You turned certain parts of yourself up because they were rewarded. You turned other parts down because they felt dangerous to show. And eventually, you stopped noticing you were doing it at all. You just called the edited version me. Jung had a name for this constructed self. He called it the persona. And here's the twist. The persona isn't the villain of this story. Everyone needs one. It's the mask that lets you function, the reason you don't talk to your boss the way you talk to your best friend at 1 a.m. That's healthy, that's normal. The danger isn't wearing the mask. The danger is forgetting your face is under there. Picture it. You put on a mask once and you know exactly what's underneath, but you wear it every day, for years, for decades, until one morning you try to remember your real face and you genuinely can't. That's where so many people quietly live out their entire lives, perfecting the performance, looking confident while they're terrified, looking calm while their mind is on fire, looking put together while privately convinced they're failing at everything, making everyone around them comfortable while slowly, silently abandoning themselves. And the cruelest part is the world rewards this. The better you get at hiding what you feel, the more people call you mature. The better you get at ignoring your own needs, the more people call you reliable. The more of yourself you sacrifice to fit in, the easier your life looks from the outside. But something underneath never stops whispering, this can't be the whole story. Have you ever had a song from your childhood come on, and out of nowhere you're fighting back tears, and you don't even know why? Have you ever watched someone else live fearlessly and felt something that looked like jealousy but was actually grief? Have you ever watched a stranger make a choice you wish more than almost anything you had the courage to make yourself? Jung would tell you none of that is random. Those moments are the gap between the life you're living and the life that's trying to break through from underneath it. And here's the real tragedy. It isn't that we wear masks, it's that most of us forget we ever put one on. We start defending it,
protecting it, building an entire identity around a costume and getting terrified of anything that might tear it. We avoid honest conversations because honesty might crack the image. We avoid change because change might expose the person we buried years ago. We avoid silence because silence leaves us alone with the one question we've spent a lifetime running from. Eventually, for every single person, pretending gets heavier than changing. For some, it happens after heartbreak. For others, strangely, it happens after success, when they finally get the thing they wanted and feel nothing. Some feel it the day they become a parent. Others feel it the day they lose everything they thought defined them. The timing is different for everyone, but the question underneath is always the same. If nobody expected anything from you, if nobody was watching, judging, rewarding, or punishing a single choice you made, who would you become? Most people can't answer that right away, because they've spent years becoming who everyone else needed. And maybe that's why the day you finally start becoming yourself never begins with confidence. It begins with confusion. Because before you can find out who you are, you first have to grieve how much of your life was built around being someone else. If you felt even 1% of what I just described, do not scroll past this. Hit subscribe right now, because what Jung discovered next explains almost every repeating pattern, every bad luck streak, and every person who seems to hurt you in exactly the same way. It's called the shadow, and it's about to change how you see your entire life. Jung believed something unsettling. The unconscious mind doesn't vanish just because you refuse to look at it. It waits. And it speaks through your emotions, your recurring mistakes, your relationships, your dreams, and sometimes through the specific people you cannot stop thinking about. That's why two people can live through the exact same event and walk away with completely different lives. One person loses a relationship and spends years blaming the other person. Another person loses that same kind of relationship and instead asks, "Why did this affect me so deeply?" That single question rewrites everything that follows. Jung believed pain only becomes meaningful when it points you towards something hidden in yourself. Ignore that, and the pain just repeats, different face, same wound. Ask the question, and pain becomes something else entirely. A guide. Most people never get there. Instead, they keep changing the outside. New city, new job, new partner, new routine, hoping the ache disappears. Sometimes it fades for a while, but it comes back. Same emptiness, new disguise. Because whatever stays unconscious keeps repeating, not to punish you, but because your mind is handing you the same lesson again and again until you're finally ready to learn it. Think about it honestly. Have different people, different names, different faces somehow made you feel the exact same wound, the same fear of abandonment, the same need to prove your worth, the same disappointment over and over? At first, it feels like terrible luck. Jung would ask something harder. Does this pattern only live out there in the world, or does part of it live in you? This is where Jung introduces one of the most important and most misunderstood ideas in psychology, the shadow. People hear shadow and think evil. That's not what Jung meant. The shadow is simply everything you learned to hide from yourself. Anger, envy, pride, fear, selfishness, but also, and this is the part people miss, vulnerability, creativity, confidence, tenderness, ambition, even joy. Anything that didn't fit the acceptable version of you can end up buried in the shadow. Picture a child constantly told to stop crying because tears are weakness. That child can grow into an adult who cannot access sadness even when life is demanding it of them. The sadness never left, it just went underground. Picture another child taught that confidence is arrogance. Years later, that person can't ask for the raise, the opportunity, the thing they've earned, not because they lack talent, but because the confident part of them has been locked away for decades. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. The shadow isn't only where your fears live, it's also where your unlived potential is waiting. This is why Jung warned against ever seeing yourself as only good. The moment you believe you're only kind, only patient, only generous, you go blind to the parts of you that still need looking after. And ironically, the people most convinced they could never be selfish are sometimes the ones who make the most selfish choices without ever seeing it. Because the unconscious does its loudest work when nobody's looking, including you. But Jung didn't teach this to make you suspicious of yourself. He taught it because he believed one thing above all: awareness creates freedom. The moment you can name the pattern, it starts losing its grip on you.
Think of the last time someone else's success made you strangely uncomfortable. Easy answer: jealousy. Jung asks you to look one layer deeper. What part of yourself did their success wake up? What dream did you quietly put on a shelf? What ability have you spent years convincing yourself you never had? Sometimes another person's life stings, not because you resent them, but because it reminds you of the life you left behind. And it works the same way with admiration. The qualities you deeply admire in someone else are very often qualities waiting patiently inside you to be developed. That's why certain people feel almost magnetic to you. It's not just attraction, they're carrying pieces of the personality you haven't let yourself become yet. Without realizing it, we spend years trying to possess in someone else what can only ever be built within ourselves. And that's the real secret hiding in this whole idea. Becoming yourself was never about becoming someone new. It's about going back for the parts of you that got left behind while you were busy becoming acceptable. This journey rarely starts with fireworks. It starts small. Saying no when you'd normally say yes. Admitting you're afraid instead of performing confidence. Walking away from something that no longer matches who you actually are. Letting yourself disappoint an expectation that was never really yours to carry. Each one of those small moments loosens the mask a little more, lets something truer breathe. But here's what nobody warns you about. The more real you become, the less comfortable your old life may start to feel. Some relationships were built around your performance, and some people genuinely preferred the version of you that never pushed back, never disagreed, never chose you first. Jung understood this cost clearly.
becoming yourself does not come with universal applause. Sometimes it costs you roles, identities, even relationships, the ones that only worked because you stayed the same. And that's exactly why so many people stop the journey before it starts. Staying familiar feels safer than becoming honest. But somewhere underneath all of it, every person carries a quiet knowing. No amount of outside success can replace the feeling of actually living as the person you were meant to be. That knowing is where the real journey begins. Jung called this whole process individuation, and he was careful about what that word did not mean. It doesn't mean inventing a new personality. It means excavating the one that's been quietly waiting under years of conditioning, fear, and imitation. Most of us assume growth means adding, more confidence, more discipline, more achievement, more approval. Jung saw it in reverse. The deepest transformation usually happens through subtraction. You start removing what was never actually yours. You question beliefs you inherited but never examined. You notice habits that only exist because they once kept you safe. You spot goals you chased to impress people who frankly weren't even paying attention. Piece by piece, the false identity loosens its grip. Inspiring until it actually starts happening. Because the first real taste of individuation rarely feels exciting. It feels like standing on ground that's shifting under your feet. Imagine walking through the house you've lived in your whole life and suddenly realizing half these rooms weren't built by you. One room is your parents' expectations. One is society's definition of making it. One is your fear of being rejected. One belongs to people who aren't even in your life anymore and somehow still have a say. And suddenly you realize how little of the house you actually designed. That realization is deeply unsettling. Most people mistake the discomfort for failure and run back to the version of themselves they already know. But Jung believed that uncertainty is often proof that something real is beginning. The old identity has stopped convincing you, but the new one hasn't fully arrived yet, and that gap in between is uncomfortable. Because the mind craves certainty more than it craves truth. That's why people stay in relationships that hurt them, stay in careers that drain them, stay in patterns they've already recognized as unhealthy. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar freedom. But the unconscious keeps pushing towards growth anyway.
You might notice the hobbies that used to light you up suddenly feel flat. Conversations that used to entertain you now feel empty. Goals that once excited you no longer seem to matter. At first, that looks like boredom, maybe even depression. But sometimes it's something far more meaningful. Your psyche quietly pulling its energy away from an identity that's outlived its purpose. Jung believed the psyche is always moving toward wholeness, constantly trying to balance what's been ignored and strengthen what's been left underdeveloped. If your whole identity was built on pleasing people, your unconscious may start engineering situations that force you to draw a boundary. If you've spent years suppressing your emotions, feelings may start arriving that you simply can't push down anymore.
These aren't random interruptions in your story. They're invitations. The hard part is that invitations from the unconscious almost never arrive politely. They show up disguised as heartbreak, failure, confusion, disappointment. Looking back, most people eventually realize the very things that broke them were the very things that finally exposed an identity they couldn't keep living inside. Not because pain is good. Jung never said, seek out suffering. He said, when pain shows up anyway, ask what it's revealing, instead of only asking how fast you can make it go away. That one shift changes your entire relationship with hardship. Instead of every obstacle feeling like proof life is against you, you start wondering if life is asking you to become someone different. Here's something Jung was honest about. Individuation is often lonely. As you get more honest with yourself, you naturally lose interest in performing for everyone else. You stop needing every room you walk into to approve of you. You stop over-explaining your decisions. You stop chasing validation from people who were never actually trying to understand you. And that shift confuses people around you. The old version of you was predictable. People knew exactly which compliment worked on you, which fear controlled you, which expectation kept you in line. When those old patterns disappear, some relationships naturally shift with them. That doesn't automatically make anyone your enemy. It just means they're adjusting to someone who's no longer following the script they memorized. Many people read that resistance as a sign to turn back. Jung would argue the opposite. Resistance often shows up exactly when an old, deeply rooted pattern is starting to break apart. It's not proof you're doing something wrong. It might be proof you're finally doing something real. The real question was never whether people approve of your growth. The question is whether your growth is making you more honest with yourself. Because individuation was never about becoming extraordinary in anyone else's eyes. It's about ending the quiet civil war that's been running inside your own mind. Imagine, just for a second, waking up without the constant pull to compare your life to everyone else's. Imagine making choices because they match who you actually are, not the image you've spent years maintaining. Imagine no longer feeling trapped inside a version of yourself you built purely out of fear of disappointing people. That kind of freedom doesn't arrive overnight, and Jung was clear it's never fully finished. Every stage of life uncovers another layer of unconscious material still waiting to be understood, another illusion to release, another piece of the real you to recover. So no, the day you become yourself was never going to be one date circled on a calendar. It's the day you stop asking, who do they need me to be, and start asking something much harder. Who am I when nobody else is writing the answer? That might be the only question worth spending a lifetime trying to answer. If this made you sit with something uncomfortable, good. That's usually a sign it was true. Subscribe now, because next week we go even deeper into the parts of Jung's work almost nobody talks about, and I promise it's going to hit just as hard as this one did. I'll see you in the next video.